Hey everyone, Adam here. I wanted to make a video on the bot. It's been redesigned, and with the free trials coming out, I wanted to give you guys a new demo video of how the bot works, how to use the features, how to make use of this new design. It looks obviously completely different from what you've seen in the other videos and online. So the first section we have is up here. These are the chains. You can choose which blockchain you're gonna snipe on, obviously. So we have BSC, Pancakeswap, Ethereum for Uniswap. V3 is gonna be added later. It only supports Uniswap V2 at the moment. And then we have Avalanche supporting two different routers, Trader Joe and Pangolin. So next, you can buy and sell. These are your buy and sell tabs. First, we'll go over to buy, and then I'll show you how to sell. So for buying, it's simple. We have our options over here for how much you want to buy, how much in BNB. If you are sniping a token that has max transactions, and you can use token amount and enter how many tokens you're allowed to buy, for example, like 10,000. And when you use this feature for token amount, you need to select the token amount option over here. Don't leave it on amount BNB, or this is going to get ignored. So you would click this and you would set a limit. So the limit is how much you're willing to spend up to in order for the transaction to succeed. So if I want to buy 10,000 tokens, I don't want to spend more than half a BNB. And if it's going to cost more than that, then fail the transaction. So that's what this is, right? So usually I'll set this at 1 BNB, for example. And when I send the transaction, when it buys, if it exceeds 1 BNB, it'll fail. I'll expect it to. And if not, then it's only going to spend what it needs. It's not going to spend this entire BNB. So keep that in mind. Next, we have the buys. This is how many times you want the thing to buy, right? So if I put 3, then it's going to send 3 transactions worth of your settings over here. These are your gas settings. Your slippage. Usually snipers, we always leave it at 100, but feel free to change it. Maybe it's a zero tax token or something. Gas and Gwei. Standard gas settings usually see in MetaMask. This I usually default to like 1,000,000. Gwei depending on ETH or BSC. So on Ethereum, there's actually a fastest Gwei field here that'll tell you how much Gwei minimum you should use for your transaction to not get stuck. Whereas on BSC, minimum is 5. I just use high amounts to get in faster, right? The higher your Gwei, the faster you get in. This token to snipe field, you can paste token addresses from your clipboard. So if I copy off the Telegram token address, I can just click this button. It'll paste it. It takes PoolCoin links. It takes Pancakeswap links. It takes links that have math equations. So you could just paste those. The bot will solve the problem, and it'll paste the token address here. Next, we have the method snipe. This section right here is used to trigger a snipe as soon as the dev uses one of the methods on the contract. Usually, we would use this for enable trading method, right? So sometimes the dev, he decides to disable trading right off the bat. And what we want to do is target that enable trading method and snipe it. So how it works is we first need a contract. So I'm just going to paste a random contract in here. That's not it. Let me see here. Just going to copy this. Paste. There we go. I just copied a whole Telegram message over here. The first thing you noticed is we have market cap being displayed for this token. The name got displayed, our balance for the token. This will get populated after you snipe. We have our taxes that get displayed, right? How much it costs to buy, how much it costs to sell, and whether or not the token is a honeypot. So this is good to check as soon as you paste the token in here, just to get a good idea of how much you'll be needing to spend to buy and sell the token. So if I wanted to trigger a method on this contract, I would first turn this method snipe on. Now you need a API key to use this feature, and you'll see here it says add BSC scan API key. I'll be forwarding you instructions and showing you how to do all that and configuration, but for now let's go over the feature itself. Select the method. We can then choose any method that the developer might use to trigger the trading. So trading status would be the method in this case. Now, obviously, the token is already live, so this is not going to work, but this is just an example of how we would go about method sniping. We would hit, enable the feature, choose the proper method to target, and then we would just scan, right? And once I scan the CA at the bottom here, it's not going to work because obviously the thing is already launched, so he's not going to, if he enables it again, it'll snipe it, but chances are very low he's going to do that. And what scanning does is it just waits in the mempool until the dev makes this transaction. As soon as it's caught in the mempool, the bot picks it up, it sends a transaction right away, right? So I'm just going to cancel this. So that's how the method snipe works. Next, we have TG scan. In order to get started with the TG scan, you need to set up your credentials. Again, I'll take care of assisting you with the configuration once you've had the bot. How this works is you enable it first, and then you choose a chat. Okay, so you can choose any chat that you want to snipe. Plenty of chats here that we can scan. So Caesar's calls, everybody knows that one. We can scan this. I'm gonna uncheck this. By scan CA means as soon as you detect the contract address in the message, send the snipe. I don't want to do that for demo purposes, so I'm just gonna click scan TG at the bottom here. Once I've set this up, obviously it will use all the settings above. So this is your buy settings, right? So whatever you set up over here will get sent as soon as the contract is picked up for the Telegram scanner. So just clicking scan TG, you can see that we're already reading off the channel. This is the last message posted in the channel, and every following message will be printed over here. As soon as a contract shows up here, it's going to automatically populate this field and send the snipe automatically. So you don't have to do anything. Only thing you got to do is just scan. So that's how the Telegram scanner works. Next, we have the front run. Now, what front run does, it's not actually front running anything. This is a liquidity snipe feature actually. So you would check this, and what we do is when you front run, this is gonna, oh, that's a bug right there. It should not say scanning TG. When you front run, it will check to see when the dev adds liquidity. So what you're really doing here is checking if liquidity is being added to the token, and if the liquidity is detected, the bot will send the transaction. So that's how we kind of front run, but not really, because we wait for the dev's transaction and then we send the transaction right after we see his. And this is only specifically for liquidity, right? If the token does not have liquidity, this does, there's a market cap, the thing is running. If there is no liquidity, then we use front run. So that's how that works. Is BUSD available on the BSC chain only? If the token is a BUSD pair, simply check this. It will convert your BNB tokens into BUSD and then send the transaction. You do not need to carry BUSD. Just select this button. It will change your BNB into BUSD and send the transaction. Paste snipe is exactly what the name says. As soon as you paste a contract, it automatically triggers a snipe. So if I have this on and I copy a CA, a contract, and I paste it with this option on, it just sends the snipe given the current settings right away. This was here before the Telegram scanner, before this was added. So that's what we were using it for. But now with the TG scanner, really you don't really need this option much. You just scan the Telegram. There's no point of copying and pasting when it could just be automated. Next is the escape transfer. What this does is, if you're worried that the dev is going to manually blacklist you, what you want to do is add first the escape wallet. So I can change, it says change here, but for you it will say add. Put in another wallet address in there, and so you'll see what it looks like here. It just says enter escape wallet address, right? You're going to enter the address, and that's going to save it to your configuration. And what happens is after you snipe, it automatically transfers all your tokens to this wallet that you've set up. Following the escape transfer, we have the sell at profit and sell at loss options. Now these are relative to your profit loss, which you will see displayed over here. After a snipe, you will see your how much you're up, how much you're down, etc. And what you can do is configure it to automatically sell for you at a given percentage profit or percentage loss. So to enable it, you just click it, and set how much you want to automatically sell at. So if you want, a 3x, that's 200%, right? 300% is 4x, etc. So if I want to sell that profit for a 3x, I put 200. Don't put the percentage, just put 200. And these are your sell configs. So how much GUI and gas, same as the gas settings over here, but this is just being configured for the auto sell, right? So you put how much the auto sell is supposed to use for GUI, the gas, and how much of the tokens do you want to sell? Do you want to sell 100% of your tokens, or maybe you want to sell 50% of your tokens at a 3x, right? Leave a moon bag or something. So you can just put 50 in here, and once you enable this, it'll automatically, you don't need to do anything else. You just select this and fill out these options. There's no button or anything to click. As soon as this is enabled, it will automatically start looking at your profit loss. So make sure that you have this configured, and when you're ready to just sell at profit or whatnot, then do that. Sell at loss, same thing. If you have it set to 0 for whatever reason, like, make sure these values are far away from your actual profit loss, because if you enable this, like if I enable this right now, I don't have a balance, but if I did, it would try to sell because my profit loss matches my sell at loss, which is 0%. So if you want to automatically sell at 100% loss, then first just put 100. Same with the profit, right? Put the number first before you enable it. If you enable this first, it will automatically look at this and just sell right away if it meets the criteria, which is greater than or equal to, right? If you are greater than or equal to 200%, it will sell. If you are less than or equal to 100%, it will sell for the loss, right? So always configure the numbers first and then enable the feature, and then configure your gas settings, okay? Next is pink sale and the DX sale. These are pre-sale liquidity snipes. What that means is you're not actually sniping the pre-sale itself. I will be adding pre-sale sniping features later on, but at the moment you can snipe the liquidity transfers of the pre-sale. So if you have a pink sale pre-sale that's going on and they are not launched yet, but the pre-sale is over and you want to get as close to pre-sale price as possible, you will select this option. You will enter the pre-sale address of that token of the launch, right? So there's the contract address and then there's a pre-sale address. You want to paste the pre-sale address in here, okay? And once you do that, after you've pasted the pre-sale address, just click the snipe button. Again, it says scanning TG, which is a bug. Just need to refresh the page. I'll put in a fix for that later, but it will say front running, and it will wait until the dev finalizes the pre-sale, because on the finalize is when the liquidity gets transferred. Okay, so when that happens, that's when the bot will snipe. So as soon as the pre-sale goes live, as soon as the token goes live, this thing will snipe automatically. Okay, but you need the pre-sale address. It's different for DX sale. You don't need pre-sale address over here. You just enable the DX sale, put the contract address, and that's it. Following that, we have the Honeypot check. So what Honeypot check does is, if the token is a honeypot, it will block your snipe. So let's just say I want to method snipe something, right? If I method snipe and I decide to, right, gotta turn this on. I want to do trading status, right? I want to wait until the dev enables trading, and I do honeypot check, and I scan. What that's gonna do is it's gonna check before the snipe. It's gonna check to see as soon as the token goes live, right? As soon as this method is triggered, it does a honeypot check. So if the token is a honeypot, it won't send your transaction. Okay, nice and simple. So this is nice as a security measure, like for yourself, for your assets, to use with your snipes, in combination with your front run or your method snipes, whatever, your TG scan. Because if it's a honeypot, you don't want to really be entering that trade, right? So that's that. The rug check. This gets used if you fear that the dev will pull the liquidity, right? The rug pull, right? They pull liquidity, just enable this. And once this is checked, the bot does a check consistently to see if the dev is at any time removing liquidity. As long as this is checked, it will keep checking if the dev removed it. And don't worry if you lose track of the page, you close the bot, you close your computer, your phone, wherever you're using the bot. As long as this was last checked, then you're okay. It's fine. You don't need to worry. It will stay there in the mempool looking for the liquidity removal until you disable it, right? Soft check, this is used in combination with method snipes and front runs. What this does is by default, the bot checks to make sure that the owner is adding liquidity, that the owner is performing a method, triggering a method, right? So if the owner is not doing that, because if you're just some random person and you go and you find this verified contract and you decide to enable the trading, it's not going to work, but you're still enabling trading, right? Now, even though the transaction is going to fail, the bot will, bots will snipe it because it did what you told it. It saw a trading status method getting triggered and it sent a transaction. By default, this bot will not do that. It will not snipe it if some random person decides to do that. But if you do want to, maybe there's another dev address, right? Maybe there's another owner on the contract. Maybe there's two owners. Then you use a soft check because you don't care which one of them triggers the method. Or if the contract is not verified, then also use the soft check. Because obviously if the contract's not verified, there's no owner, but also nobody can just randomly trigger a method on an unverified contract. You don't have access to it. So enable the soft check on unverified CAs, as well as if the contract is verified and you don't care which owner triggers it. It's a little risky, but it's good to have when you don't care who's performing the methods, whether it's adding liquidity or triggering a method on method snipes. Block delay, there's dead blocks in contracts, as you know, anti-bot measures. This is used to get around them. This counts the blocks from the block that the action happened, the event happened, right? So if we're doing trading status, let's just say this contract had a block delay, it had dead blocks, right? When you get blacklisted or you get high taxed because you got in too early. If you can find that in the contract, if you know how many blocks you need to skip, just put them in here. If you need to skip 2 blocks, just put 2 and then scan, right? What's this going to do is in the mempool, when it reads this transaction, it says, okay, the block was, this method was triggered at block number 13. We have a block delay of 2. So we're only going to send the transaction as soon as block 15 is detected, right? Because we're skipping 2 blocks. We're skipping block number 13 itself, where the dev triggered the transaction, and we're skipping block number 14, which means our entry is at block number 15. Okay, so remember that. This obviously will vary depending on the contract. So over here we have your balances. These change for whatever chain you're on, ETH or whatever. We'll see that now. We have your settings over here on this area. You have your recent transactions. So all your previous snipes, it'll just take you to the BSC scan page. Your buy configs, if you don't want to have to keep putting this in every time, just click save buy configuration. It saves, and then when you refresh the page, everything will be the same. Save sell, same thing for the sell tab. It's going to save those cells. Defaults is just the default bot settings. Nobody really uses this. Your cookies, so this will show you your wallet address, your configurations, a bunch of stuff that are saved on the bot. You can modify and delete them if you want. If you want to change your wallet, you can go and delete your wallet from the cookies and add a new one, stuff like that. And this is your token info box right here, right? Anything related to tokens is going to show up here. The sell tab, very simple. You have your slippage, your gas settings, the contract that we have pasted. This is the portion, how much percent of the token we want to sell, right? So if I want to sell 100% of my tokens, I just leave it at 100. Split sells, this divides your tokens by how many times you want to sell. So let's just say there's a max transaction on the contract. You can only sell 2,000 tokens at a time, and you have a wallet of 10,000 tokens. So we need to split that into 5, right? We split the 10K tokens into 5 different cells of 2K each cell, okay? And that's how that works. Is BUSD, if the token is a BUSD pair and you're selling, same thing as when you were buying. Click it so it can convert. You need this. If you don't do this, it's gonna mess up your sell. You might not even get the same value of your token. So if BUSD pairings, always use the is BUSD. Approve before sell. If the auto approve fails for whatever reason, just like similar to clicking approve in MetaMask when you want to perform a transaction. If the auto approve in the bot, usually after you buy it auto approves. If that fails, just you can use this option, approve before sell, and click sell tokens. And it will send an approval and then sell the tokens right after. That's that. For Ethereum, everything's almost the same. The only difference is the fastest GUI and the GUI multiplier and the max priority. This bottom row here, fastest GUI, is because Ethereum's GUI is always volatile. It's always changing, right? Sometimes you see this in the 200s. Sometimes you see it at 18, whatever. You don't want to use GUI that's less than what's suggested here. Okay, now fastest GUI is actually just fastest according to etherscan.io, but you don't want to use this, right? We want to use GUI, like we can use this GUI multiplier field, so we don't have to keep changing this, right? This keeps changing, right? 27. So if you were already, if I put 27 here, and then this thing goes up to like 35, well, now I have to update this value again. So what we can do is use this multiplier and just put like 2, right? And what it does, you can see it just automatically updated my GUI. It will take this value and multiply it by whatever you put here and consistently update this value as long as this is not equal to 0, nothing, or 1, right? Well, 1 times the thing is always going to be the same, right? 24. So if this is 0, it's not gonna update anymore. Or if we leave it blank, it's not gonna update anymore. Only if this is populated, it will update our GUI. So usually I have this at like say 1.5 or 2, whatever, it doesn't matter. And it will this way I know that I'll never miss out. If the GUI spikes, I'll always have GUI updated here. Max priority, this is set to, this is essentially what your actual GUI is, because this GUI on ETH is gonna be defaulted to the base GUI for that block. So your max priority is essentially the additional GUI that you want to send, and this will be used up entirely. This will not. This GUI right here will not be used up entirely, but this will. So make sure you push this, don't leave it low. If you do, it's gonna take time pending, and then you're gonna DM me and tell me your bot is taking 3 years to send a transaction. Well, no, it's because you put 2 as a max priority, so you're not really prioritizing yourself. Everybody else using 50, 100, whatever. So push this, don't leave it low. Let's see, for everything else here is more or less the same, and on Avalanche we have just the 2 routers up here. Max priority is the same, there is no GUI tracker here. And yeah, so now let's just do a little demo of the snipe. So we have the market cap here. This is the token that we were just looking at. Let me grab the CA from this. I'm just going to copy the link address. I'm going to paste it here. So what happens is when I switched chains, token address goes away because, you know, as to not snipe a BSC token on the Ethereum chain, right? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So let's see if this, I don't have the address for this anymore. So I'm just going to grab another random address. And let's see what we have. This message. I'm going to copy this, paste it here. Let's see. Okay, so as you can see, I just pasted a random token. Sell tax, you see a warning here, it's 55%. You don't want to buy this token, right? Like, what the hell? 55%. So I don't want to get mixed up with that. There is also other tokens here, but you know what, screw it. Like, this is a demo anyway, so I'll just buy this thing. I'm definitely not going to buy 0.5. I'm going to buy like 0.001, and I'm going to leave my settings. I'm not going to spend 200 GUI on this thing, just put like 15, and yeah, we'll see this all get populated right now after my snipe. Since this is a manual snipe, this is what we call manual snipe, just pasting a CA and just clicking the snipe, you know, the snipe button. Yeah, so I'm gonna snipe this. Again, this is a bug. I just need to really just refresh the page, and then we'll see this thing. You just ignore the scanning TG. That's just a bug. It's actually just sending a transaction. It should say sniping. So we get a transaction hash here after our snipe. and now we'll see our balance. If the snipe was successful, we'll see a balance. There we go. And our auto proof kicked in. It lets us know we have a balance, how much it's worth, and how much we bought. We bought 0.001. It's worth 20 cents. Profit loss is stagnant, right? We're not in profit or in loss, right? Because nobody's buying this crap with 55%. Now, if sometimes your profit loss is miscalculated, sometimes you use the buys, and some of the buys fail. So what you can do is find out how many of the buys succeeded, right? And then you can just put how much you bought. So if I put 0.0005, for example. Obviously I bought 0.001, but just so you can see how the profit loss works, if I want to reset it, it tells me, okay, I'm in 77% profit. That's like if you lose track of your profit and loss, you refresh the page, you lost track, just click this, just put in how much you bought, and it'll tell you how much you're in profit or loss. And if you want to sell, so I want to sell 100%, I don't want to split it 5 times, 1 is good enough. Gas settings look good. Usually gas, like I up it to 1.5 mil. Sometimes selling just takes higher gas, I don't know why. Depends on how the contract's coded, but it happens. So I'm not even going to approve before sell. We just got the confirmation that our tokens were auto approved. I'm going to click sell. He's going to start selling. We will see this balance going to 0, and we will lose a lot of that BNB that we had. So there we go. We got the transaction hash. Our balance should get updated. There we go, 0. We don't have it anymore, and I just took a massive L on that sell task. So that's how that works. If you have any questions regarding any of the features, the one thing I did forget to go over was the custom method ID. I gotta turn this on. Custom method ID. This is used if the contract is not verified. Simply get the method ID of the method that you want to snipe and just paste it in here. Usually starts with 0x. Just paste it in here and scan CA. Okay. If there are any other questions you have, please DM me anytime. AdamSnipes. And yeah, see you later.